It's Essential Money Talks time, and today we're going to talk about your kids. Okay, we're going to talk about kids and money. Okay, let me just. So, kids and money. Okay, kids love money. We all love money. First of all, just to tell you a little bit about me, I'm Sherri. I'm a certified spending planner. So I help people plan their spending. I love to help people with their day-to-day finances, achieve their financial goals, and become free from financial stress. I've been doing this since 2003 using a spending plan. I was a stay-at-home mom of 5 children who are now adults and enjoy their spending plans. No more money stress. Instead, we have money success, and we are genuine happy spenders with a proven plan that works. And so a spending plan is what everyone needs. The name of my business is Essential Spending Plan because it is essential for all of us to plan our spending, because if we don't plan it, it will plan itself, and it may not be what you really want it to. So today, again, I'm going to talk about why it's important to teach your kids about money. It is one of the best gifts in life that you can teach your kids is the wisdom of money. Every child will become a money manager. They have no choice in the matter. The only choice is with the parents. That's you. That your choice is whether the child will become a good money manager or a bad money manager. Again, the choice is yours. If you don't teach them, someone else will, but it may not be truths, maybe some lies. So again, why do we need to teach our kids about money? Because money makes the world go round, or it makes it go pear-shaped. Life is tough. We need to master our money, and we want our kids to be financially secure in the future. We also want them to, when they move out, that they aren't a burden to us, that we've taught them the things that they need to know so that they have that equipment and that knowledge to manage their money so that they don't keep coming back and asking for money. We want them to manage their money well. We want them to have surplus income so that they don't struggle. We want them to be able to save up for a deposit and buy a home. We want them to provide for your grandchildren. We want them to stay married so that you don't have to pick up the pieces for the grandkids when they go off the rails. Okay? Money and relationships, you have to have a healthy relationship there with money. And too many times, marriages break down or relationships due to money. So we need to educate our children to have good money management so that they can come into a relationship. Even if it does come into someone who doesn't, at least they can teach them. We want them to generate enough wealth to keep them well in their old age and maybe even help us out a little bit. So how can we, and what can we do to achieve this? One, we need to be better role models for our children. We need to model what we want our kids to do. Welcome, the 3 amigos, to listening on. I know that you are a wonderful mother and are teaching your children. So we also need to, again, we need to be a great role model, but we also need to teach them, specifically teach them, because they aren't being taught in school. So we need to have a structure to teach our children. I know when my grandchildren come to stay, I've just recently gotten, you'll see over here, little container of money chocolate. And so my grandkids come and I give them, they call it the special lolly because it is special. because it has all the vitamins that they need to have to be healthy physically. But then I also teach them to get a chocolate or a chocolate coin, you need to learn how to be healthy financially. And so every time they know that they have to learn a little money truth in order to get a chocolate. So make it fun. Money is fun. But we need to really, besides being a role model, we need to structure and actually teach them about money. Why? Because we all want to have a great life. We all want to be able to buy a home, have a car, go on a holiday, and have money for those things, those unexpected things. We want to do that. We don't want any money stress. We don't want bills. We want to be able to pay for everything. We want to be able to have quality family time. We want to be responsible community members. We want to be able to help out if someone in the community is in need of help. But we can only do that if we already are taking care of our own families and have surplus. We want a fulfilling life now and into the future. And I think that's the biggest thing to teach our kids is the future is not very far off. As you are thinking, you can remember back when you were a kid or when you first got married and you look at your age now and think, wow, where did those years go? So the future is going to happen. We need to prepare for it now. But there's always a but. Living this ideal life is not easy. No one has money problems on purpose. You don't just think, hey, guess what? I'm going to be bad with money. But a large amount of people do have regular money stresses anyway. So what's going wrong? Surely we're not all stupid, incompetent. There must be something not working. So why do people struggle financially? They're too busy to manage their money properly. If I just ignore it, it will take care of itself, which is wrong. They don't have any self-discipline. They don't know how. They don't have financial literacy. And I see that so often. It's so common and it's so sad. But it's not their fault. And if you don't totally understand how to manage your money properly or have that self-discipline, it's not your fault. You were never taught. And so there's many, many reasons why people struggle financially. But most of us get caught in that vicious cycle. We were taught very little as a child. So what we have to pass on is very little. Now, of course, you may have parents who were really good with money. Now, it's not because they learned it in school. It's because they probably were taught by their parents, and they did that. Or their parents weren't good with money, and then they went and studied and learned. Okay. And so this is what it is. Your kids aren't being taught in school, so you need to be their educator in this area. As a spending planner, I help people achieve their financial goals and financial hardship, remove the money stress. Money stress is not a necessity in life. And I have the answer. And it's simple and it's true. It will resolve personal frustrations, unity within partners, because what I teach, it shows your money truth. And so there's no arguing. You just both align yourself with that truth, and that resolves things. It mends stretched relationships as well. So we see what damage money pressure does in people's lives. And I see people liberated when they have the right information. And that is just one of the many benefits that I have as I help people with money. There's so much to know about what to teach your kids about money. And so I'm going to go through 17 things, money truths that you need to teach your kids about money. Okay, and before I do, I just want to welcome Karina. And she asked, what age can children learn about money? As soon as they know what money is. And that's very, very young. I teach my grandchildren, and my youngest one's well, my youngest one is 1. I don't know if he really understands what money is, but he knows what the money chocolate is. But my 3-year-old grandchildren, they definitely know what money is. And I'll tell you a cute thing. The other day, I was teaching one of them, and I was teaching them the concept to get money, you have to work for it. And so we talked about how her dad goes to work and gets money. And so I told her the rule of this game that I have to teach her something about money in order to get a chocolate. So the next day she came to my home and visited me, and she came in and ran in and goes, Grandma, Grandma, and she handed me the mail. And she goes, work, money. So she learned that, yeah, Daddy works, he gets money. So if she works, then she gets money. And so, of course, she got her money. In fact, she got 2 because she did it without even prompting. And so, yeah, so Karina, you start teaching them as early as possible. You start modeling them as early as possible. And I think another important thing is that as parents, we tend to, and I know my parents' generation, and especially as you go back, they kept money private. They didn't really talk to their kids about money. And of course, if you ever found out how much your dad made, that was just, you do not mention that to anybody else, whether they didn't, they weren't embarrassed, or whether they made a lot and just didn't want people to know. And so, but today we need to talk to our kids about money. Yes, of course, we tell them that what we talk about here stays here, and we don't want to go out and brag or, whatever about our family finances. But we need them to understand that when they see us spending money on something, then they know that we save for it first. One, we plan for it. We plan to spend it. We save for it. Then we spend. If we don't teach them, they're only going to see that we saved, that we spent it. And so as soon as they get a job, they're just going to go, I have money, I spend it. They're not going to know that you actually had 2 other steps prior to spending before you spent. Now, you may not. You may be one that just gets money and spends. And so that's why it's important to educate yourself so that you can then educate your kids. And welcome, is it Jeevy? She says, at least in the very young, children know the importance of money. Yes, and they do. They know the importance of money, where I think as adults, and that's such a good comment, as adults, we tend to think it's disposable. Oh, we'll just get some more money. And so it's really important to help them understand the value of money, and for us to remember the value of money, that of what we have. Okay, and please keep questions or comments coming so that I can share those with you. So I'm going to go over the 17 topics. Now, before I go, on Thursday, the 5th of May at 12 noon, so around the same time, I'm going to be doing a whole hour webinar on kids and money. Okay, and we're going to go into a little bit more deeper about each of these topics that I'm going to talk about. Today's just kind of a quick overview. And so if you want to join that webinar, it's a free webinar, just make sure to check the links below that will be put down there, and you'll be able to register for that free webinar. So it's for anyone to come and learn more. Okay, and then also directly after this, so in 15 minutes at 12 noon Brisbane time, and they're both Brisbane time, I'll be doing my regular webinar that I do every week, and it's called Ready, Set, Go. So it's to teach parents how to get ready, get set up so that they can go to get their own finances in order, so then they are more equipped to then teach their children. So that's just straight after this. So again, if you're interested in that, the link will be put below, and you can register for that. Okay, so let's just talk about the 17 things, if I've left you in suspense. The first one is money security. We need to teach our children that money is there to give us security, not to give us anxiety. Okay, money is there to help us in life, not to hinder us in life. And so that's really important. And I know, especially for women, money security is really important, especially, if they're the stay-at-home mom and they're the main caregiver of the children. If anything happens in a relationship, usually the mothers have the children, and financial security is so, so important. So that's the first thing, is to teach our children that money is there to make us secure, not to give us problems in life. The next thing is we need to teach our kids how to protect their money from them. Well, let me rephrase this. I teach you how to protect your money from you, because the chances of someone coming in and stealing your money is very little. Yet the chances of you stealing your money is really big. Okay. You have these good intentions on January 1st, you're going to do a budget or whatever, and then you don't keep to it. So that's the second thing, is to teach you how to protect your money from you. And that is with an effective bank structure. Banks do not teach you that, and they do it for a very sly reason, because they want you to muck up your finances, have one bank account and one savings account, because that's how they set it up. And many do that. And a lot of money sitting in the one account for all different things, and they never know when to stop spending. So I teach an effective bank structure that actually a bank manager said to someone that I was helping with this, said, oh, that's how we do our accounts, but we don't teach our customers. And said, stick with her because she knows what she's talking about. So we need to protect our money from us. And that's really important. Same with your children. Organizing the flow of money. Okay. Yeah. The flow of money from what account to what account, and just how money flows. I asked my grandchildren this week, where does money come from? Where do you get money? And they say the bank. And I said, okay, yeah, but where did the bank get the money? They said the government. And I said, no. I didn't even want to confuse them that their fathers both work for the government. I said, no, it comes from who your dads work for. Their company puts money in the bank. Then from the bank, you take it and you can spend it. And so that was a very interesting conversation of actually where money comes from. Of course, they thought it was the bank. And of course, our kids think it grows off trees, but we know it doesn't. The fourth topic is the 6 types of expenses. There are 6 ways that we spend our money. And we need to have a plan, a spending plan for each of those types of expenses. Now, I'm just going to quickly rattle them off. I'm not going to spend time on this because this is something that I go into more depth in the workshop, which is just after this. Weekly expenses, which is for food, fuel, fun, and incidentals. Regular, predictable expenses is the second one, which includes bills. Purchasing things you need or things you want. Repairing things. Okay, we buy things, but we tend to put our head in the sand and forget we need to repair them. The 5th one is replacing things. Eventually, things need replacing. And then the 6th one is once in a lifetime occurrences. Those big things like getting an education, getting married, getting your first home, going on that dream holiday, retirement, and those. And so those are all areas that we need to teach our children that you need to think about so that they don't just waste all their money on the third FFFI, food, fuel, fun. They will just think it all goes to fun money. But no, there's so many other things we need to spend our money on. The 5th one is habits, spending less than you earn. And I'm talking a lot less than you earn, because people think, okay, I make $80,000 and I only spend $79,000. But chances are they're using a traditional budget, which does not have them look at all the 6 types of expenses. And so when unexpected things happen, for me, I can't pay that. And then they easily will get into debt. So we need to know all the ways we need to spend our money and make sure that we have all those important things covered first before we go out and spend our fun money. So to know that, we need to have a spending plan. Okay, I stopped budgeting 19 years ago because it lacked information. It guessed and said you should be able to pay your bills. And sometimes it did, and a lot of times it didn't. The money wasn't there because it didn't give me the full picture. A spending plan does. A spending plan adds in the timing of your income and your expenses and shows you how to pay your bills and how to pay all your 6 types of expenses. So it's very powerful. And we went from money, anxiety, and stress. I was a stay-at-home mom, 5 children, to no stress at all. And it had nothing to do with our income. It had everything to do with how we managed our money, and the tool and the spending plan was the answer. Okay, number 7, borrowing money, credit cards and loans. They need to understand. And if you don't have the money, this is where the big truth is. Number 1 money truth is save and spend. You have to save first and spend. Society consumerism will teach your child buy now, pay later, or get now and pay later. That is so socially normal, but I teach people not to be financially normal. I am financially weird, and I teach people to be financially weird, which means you do not have consumer debt. Consumer debt is stuff you buy stuff. I'm not talking about a mortgage. I'm talking about consumer debt that you buy, and as soon as you buy it, it loses value. Yet if you put it on credit, it's costing you actually more eventually by the time you pay that off. So borrowing money, credit cards, loans, so important to tell them not to get into that debt trap. Relationships and money. We talked about that earlier. It's important to have a good relationship with money. Money is your vehicle to get you what you want. It is not, it's not your master. You need to master your money. Otherwise, it will master you. And by default, your money will master you unless you master it. The 9th one is managing risk and insurance, teaching about insurance and the reason for it. My youngest she didn't understand the insurance thing, and she kept saying, Mom, it's a scam. She bought her first car at 17, and she had saved up and did that when she got her license. And I explained that you need insurance. She just didn't understand, why do I pay this company money if I never get anything for it? Until she crashed her car and she got money back for her car. In fact, more than what she had actually paid for it. Then she understood why you get insurance. So that's really important. It's for those big things that could really put you financially in ruins. Cars and car loans, which she understood. Car loans, you should not have to have a car loan. You can save for a car. Homes, different, but car is a consumer item. And if you can't afford something, then just get something you can afford. Save and then spend. 11, consumer goods. Just understanding how consumerism works. For example, when I teach my kids, as soon as they get their car and they want to go to drive-through in McDonald's, that they're going to ask you to upsell. You're going to say, I want a hamburger. And they're going to say, do you want fries with that? Teach them the upsell concept so that they are aware. And my daughter was so excited. She called me, Mom, guess what? They just tried to upsell me with some chips. And I told them no, because I knew what they were doing. So we need to understand all the strategies that consumerism does so that we can teach our children to know when they're being lied to or fooled. Property, teach them that they can own a home. I interviewed a young girl, well, she's 19. She bought her first home. She had a single mom who did not help her. It can happen. And she still had fun in her teenage years. She got it at 19. Shares and stock market investing so much. I see that so much online with the millennials and the younger generation. They're wanting to kind of get rich quick. But some of them, hopefully it's because they want to long-term know that they're going to get rich, and that's the way to do it. But you have to have your basis organized first. You have to make sure your essential costs are in place and that you have money for the unexpected before you start investing in something. And you don't want a high risk investment because, unless you have lots and lots of money and can afford to lose it, it's good to be careful. But you have to do first things first in your basic finances. Business, how business, to have a business. I love my business. And I love being a business owner. And so that's an option to teach your kids that they can become a business owner, because then they'll have a lot more flexibility in their lifestyle and their income, and just great all around. Income tax, teach them what income tax is, superannuation, what that is, and that has to do with retirement. And then I'm going to throw in a bonus one here, employment. Teach them the value of work, and teach them, what age they can start getting a job, and get them to get a job early. All my kids got jobs early. It teaches them a really good work ethic. And the last one in our life is death. Preparing for that, knowing that eventually you have to pay for your funeral, and just the things that come along with death, wills to protect your money so it will go to who you want. So there's lots of information. Your child will not learn what they need to know at school. If they don't know the rules, they can't play the game, and there are rules with money. And it's not that people think we need more money. It has nothing to do with how much you do, because I've worked with people with lots of money and people with very little money, and the ones with little money are richer than the ones with more. So income has nothing to do with it, because you can ask rich people or people who don't have much, and they'll all say that they can have money stress. So it's on what they spend their money on. And so how can we get our money right if we don't know what right looks like? If you don't know what your bank account should say on any day of the year, then how do you know if you're going to do okay and you don't have to stress? That's the missing link, or the missing information budgets have. And that's what I teach with the spending plan. And I have an online course for kids and money. I have a webinar on Wednesday. And so you'll see the links below. I also have the link if you want to buy my course. It's only $17.18, 17 money truths before 18, $17.18, and you'll be able to get access to the full course. I'll be going over that more in detail at the webinar, but if you want, you can go directly in and buy that course. And that's Australian dollars. So please join me. Hopefully there's been you've been motivated and inspired to teach your kids. But again, you'll think, what do I teach them? That's what this course does. Okay. It will be the best money you will pay is $17.18 to know what you need to teach. And even it tells you at different age groups how you can teach them that concept. So join me on Wednesday, but if you want to stay tuned, you'll see the link below to join me just now. I'll be cutting off here and going straight on into a webinar, the Ready, Set, Go to Financial Peace. So I would love to hear the lessons that you learned, or the insights that you've learned from this today. Please put them in the comments. I'd love to read those and respond to you after the webinar. But again, please join me for the webinar. If not, I will see you next Tuesday at 11:30 Brisbane time for my next Essential Money Talks. Okay, choose financial freedom.